Hey guys, it's Brian, and today I wanted to talk about sleep, and particularly the sleep routine that will change the way you sleep, how you perform in and out of the gym, and just improve your quality of life in general. So first, I just wanted to harp on how important sleep is, not just physically, but more importantly, mentally and emotionally. So all throughout the day, we have emotional and mental stressors from our job to our kids, our spouse, our partner, our family, right? There's a endless amount of things that can put strain on us both mentally and emotionally. And not even to mention this guy right here, right? All the things we see on the news, social media, definitely a heightened sense of mental and emotional stress. So in order to combat that every day or just handle it as best you can, we need quality sleep. So let's start with the routine, and it's going to start in the morning, surprisingly. So in the morning and throughout the day, we want to get as much sunlight as possible. Now, that doesn't mean that we spend all day outside, but just getting outside in the sunlight, getting a little bit of sun in those retinas on the skin. Don't stare at the sun. I know there's a lot of memes and things out there about Andrew Huberman. He's a podcaster telling people to look at the sun. Don't look at the sun. Not a good idea. Just go outside, get that sunlight in your eyes just from the reflecting sunlight all throughout the environment. You don't need to look at the sun, and on your skin. This will help us set our circadian rhythm. It'll tell your body that it's time to be awake, it's time to be doing things, it's not time to be asleep. So just setting that circadian rhythm right off the bat so that we are setting ourselves up for success when it's time for bed. And then the next step is looking at our caffeine intake. Caffeine is a mental and physical stimulant. It has a lot longer half-life than you may think. So that just means it stays in your body a lot longer than you think. I'm definitely a fan of coffee, definitely an advocate of caffeine in general, but making sure that we are conscious of when we are having our caffeine. So we don't want to have it all throughout the day up until the late afternoon. We want to try to keep our caffeine consumption in the early part of the day. I like to do no later than 2 p.m. and then after that, completely off caffeine. No soda, no energy drinks, no coffee. As much as you feel like you might be adapted to caffeine or immune to the caffeine effects and you need a lot of it, at night, if that's still in your system, it's going to be harder to fall asleep and it's going to be harder to get into certain cycles of sleep. So that can affect your overall quality of sleep in general. Our next step is just looking at our liquid consumption as we get closer to our bedtime. I struggle with this quite a bit. For some reason, no matter how much water or liquids I drink throughout the day, as soon as it's time to go to bed, I feel completely parched, and I've been trying to not drink any water, drink very small amounts of water. But ideally, within 2 hours of our sleep time, we're not having any liquids. That way we can get it all out of our system. We're not having the urge to wake up in the middle of the night, disrupt that sleep cycle to go to the bathroom. This is a huge one because disrupting in the middle of the sleep cycle can really mess up your entire quality of sleep. Even if you're getting that total 8 hours, it's better to get it straight through than broken up into pieces because we're having to get up and go to the bathroom. So we have our day situated, getting sunlight, controlling our caffeine consumption, at least the time when we're having that caffeine, and limiting that liquid consumption closer to our sleep time. So now it's getting to nighttime, almost time to go to sleep. The first thing we want to do, completely black out our room as best as we can. So start with either blackout blinds or curtains. I think curtains are the best. This way we don't have any light bleeding in from the street. It may only be a little bit, but that little bit of light can send the signal that it's still time to be awake and it'll be harder to fall asleep, harder to stay asleep. Also looking at the electronics in your room. A lot of them have little lights on them. So either covering those up or trying to turn it off. I know on most TVs, you can go in and turn off the standby mode. So all the lights are off on the TV. Being in a blacked out room makes it much easier to fall asleep. Again, sending that signal opposite of what we had throughout the day with the sun. It's time to go to sleep. Completely dark, no light touching the skin. Even light from fluorescent lights or light bulbs can affect that circadian rhythm. It can tell your body that it's still time to be awake. The next thing we want to do is figure out how to wind down. Now, I'm going to give you a few tips, some things you can try. You don't have to do all of these things, but adding a few of these in can make a huge difference. So the first one is taking a quick warm shower before you go to sleep. Now, normally when we're going to sleep, our body cools down. So it may be counterintuitive to get into a warm shower, but the after effect of the warm shower is your body rapidly cooling down, which will help you fall asleep and stay asleep. The other thing is figuring out how to calm our mind. So throughout the day, like we talked about, a lot of mental stressors, emotional stressors from work to social media to our home life, a lot of things going on. So how do we mentally wind down? One thing is meditation. It doesn't have to be some long thing. You can just sit down, close your eyes, relax for 5 minutes, maybe put a scent on from a candle, a oil diffuser. Got one right here. Or a incense anything to get that scent that you find calms you down or relaxes you can also help big time. Just make sure you put it out if it's a candle or incense before you go to sleep. Definitely don't want to leave that candle on all night. So that scent and that meditation time combined can help you relax a ton and get you in the mode for sleep. Another thing is avoiding this guy right here. We want to try to avoid our phone as much as possible, whether it's social media, work, sending text messages to your friends, whatever it is. It gets you out of the mode of sleep, particularly social media and work emails, things like that, because social media is meant to heighten our senses. It's meant to capture our attention. So if we get in that mode, it's hard to switch that off quickly to go to sleep. And same thing with work. If we're bouncing back and forth between work emails and trying to relax or read a book, your mind is going to be on that work email. I'm sure we've all done this where you look at an email that you probably shouldn't have looked at right before bed, and now you're just sitting thinking about what you have to do tomorrow or throughout the week. So we want to avoid that. Take care of your emails in the morning. And I mentioned it before, but reading a book can slow us down, help us relax, get us ready for sleep. So instead of scrolling through Instagram, looking at the news on your phone, watching TV, pick up a book, slowly read. You don't have to worry about jamming through the book. It's meant to be relaxing. So book, no phone, you're good to go. And if we put any combination of these things together, it's going to improve your sleep drastically, especially just having a consistent routine where our body knows that it's time to relax helps a ton. It puts us in that mode of sleep and gets us out of the mode of work, family, life. So hopefully that was helpful. That's going to be it for me. I appreciate you guys watching to the end. If you want more valuable content like this, subscribe or check out my Instagram, and I will see you guys next time.